Hello and welcome to a Racing Post Bloodstock podcast. I'm Martin Stevens from the Racing Post Bloodstock desk. It's Grand National Week, so we've got two very special guests. We have amateur rider extraordinaire Derek O'Connor and Goffs marketing director extraordinaire Joey Cullen. Welcome to London. How was Cheltenham for you guys? You obviously had a winner. Congratulations on any second now.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was good, yeah, it was a good experience, Martin, yeah. Sure, Cheltenham is a very, very special place, as we all know, you know. A lot of our racing year kind of evolves. It's the way things have gone in recent years, that Cheltenham is the be-all and end-all. And, you know, to go there with nice rides for Mr McManus and to come home with a winner. And, you know, it was great pleasure in it, and to ride for the Walsh family. Yeah. What a famous family in racing, like. And Ted and Katie and Ruby and Jennifer and Helen, they're such lovely people, like, and you know, they took great satisfaction out of it, and it's a memory I'll always cherish, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And any second now is actually a homebred for the McManuses, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do we know what the plans are for him?
Yeah, he's going for the Irish National. A little bit ground dependent. If the ground is nice, he'll definitely run the Irish National. He's, I think it's £8 he got for winning in Cheltenham, so it'll be a big ask to carry £8 extra when he wasn't competitive in Ireland in the handicaps off his original weight. You know, he ran around in the Petty Power and he wasn't competitive. Bit of nice ground possibly might get him a little bit further than he ran in the Petty Power. He seems to be in good form. Ted felt that he's coming into himself more in the springtime, so like it'll be nice to see him running there. Riding arrangements, I don't know. I'd love to think that I might stay on him, but the truth being told, I'd say I'm about the fifth jockey in line. You know, you're thinking about Mark Walsh and Barry Geraghty and Jody McGarvey. They're all JP's jockeys, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and not that I want to open old wounds from Cheltenham, which have almost healed now, but it was a big talking point and one that you would possibly be more have a more educated opinion on than the rest of us. Are you pleased now that Declan Lavery's suspension picked up in the National Hunt Chase has been overturned on appeal? Do you think justice has been served? Do you think the stewards had a hard time from the press afterwards?
Yeah, you know, you're after probably taking all the words out of my mouth. You know, you're after nailing it, really. The stewards did have a very hard time of it on the day. The stewards obviously have the best intentions for racing on their minds at all times, as the jockeys do, you know. We, as amateurs, it's a big stage. Cheltenham is a big stage, and there is quite a bit of pressure. And you know, we have to do the best we possibly can for everybody involved, for the owner, for the horse, for the trainer, and then for the punter at home, because the punter at home is quite important as well. You know, so when you're in a position in these races to make split-second decisions, you all don't make the right decision, as simple as that. You know, I think Declan Lavery made the right decision. He gave the horse a lot of chances and he finished third. He collected a lot of prize money. A lot of people would have been happy with that position. Punters, you know, each way money at a big price in Cheltenham. There's a lot of money riding on that. I do feel that some of the other riders in the race mightn't have made great decisions. You know, the horses got very tired. But you know what? There's going to be a lot of lessons learned, and the stewards done a reasonably good job handling it. You know, the Declan Lavery decision was turned over, which I think was right. Yeah. So you know, instead of dragging it on and bringing up old wounds, hopefully we can all learn and just move on from it. Yeah. Exactly.
Joey, how's Cheltenham for you?
Thankfully, a good Cheltenham. As Derek says, it's just a great event, a great time of year. Cheltenham was very good for the company, I suppose. Goffs had a lot of winners. Altior just keeps doing amazing things. He's just a gorgeous horse. It's a pleasure to even be around him, to go to Cheltenham to see horses like him. Every time now he finds himself in trouble, he has a way of getting out. He's just an amazing horse. Paisley Park, obviously another, like Altior, another Land Rover graduate. Yep. The story around him, I don't think there was a person in Cheltenham that wasn't cheering for him. They're just great connections around the horse, and when they push the button on him, he really finds a lovely horse to have around the place.
And I didn't realise, we were talking earlier about his breeder, or his part breeder with his grandfather and his family, Michael Conahan, works at Goffs.
Yeah, Michael was a spotter in Goffs for years. Great guy. It's a whole big You know, there's a lot around Paisley Park that involves Goffs, and he's just a smashing horse. Hopefully a horse for years to come that we can all enjoy.
Yeah. And you played your part in a few other of the big winners as well, like Tiger Roll and Top of the Game. Yeah,
Tiger Roll is obviously great. He looks an even better horse again this year. He got some cheer in Cheltenham. He got a lot of people out of trouble, I'd say. And obviously Top of the Game. You know, he's a graduate of the Aintree sale. He looks a very, very good horse. He's a horse to follow for years to come. Just a smashing big horse. And I think he runs here again in Aintree on Friday. It'll be great to watch again.
So, the talk of the Aintree sale is a very smooth and completely unrehearsed segue into the week ahead in Aintree. And the reason you're both on here together is because Derek is an agent or representative for the Goffs Group, who are holding a sale at Aintree on Thursday after racing, which has been going since I think 2016 and has quite the role of honour. So Derek, can you just explain a bit about your second life working for sales?
Yeah, this time of the year is fairly hectic, Martin, now, yeah, because there's right as an amateur is my first job, obviously, and so I work as an agent then for the Goffs Group, and with the horse and training sales coming up, it's fairly busy schedule. Now you'll be trying to keep an eye on results. Entries first to see what possibly will be running, and you're touching base with all these trainers and owners, trying to befriend them before the horses get to the races, and you know, you're trying to lay out plans with people there to get the horse to the sale, and you know, it's a big process. My God, the trainers and the owners that in months and months in advance. You're talking about back last June when they were going to the store sales in Goffs to buy horses. So like you're talking about 11, 12 months in planning to get these horses to the races and training and riding them out every day, and you know, there's a whole load of sequence of events to get the horse to the point of points to get them to win. And you know what? After 10 months' work, you're not even halfway there, because then we get them, hopefully get the horse over to Aintree, the sale on Thursday afternoon. So you have to get them. You have to win your point of point. You have to school them, prepare them, get them to the point of point. You have to win your point of point. You have to get the jockey on board. You have to have the right result on the day. Finish in front when there's 15 other people wanting to beat you in the race. So you've got that far, and do you know what? Your hard work only starts, because you come over then, you have to travel over, you have to risk travel sickness, you have dehydration, you have soreness, lameness, all these problems that come with training racehorses. So you arrive over in Aintree and you have to pass the vets. You're 2/3 of the way at that stage. So you have to impress the trainer, the prospective buyer. In Aintree then it's brilliant. Do you know, all the trainers are there, and there's a real relaxed atmosphere. So there's, you know, people stroll down there to look at the horse in the viewing yard, and they bring their owners with them. And we have a hospitality area there, so it's very easy to entertain people. And they'd give us the list of horses that they'd like to see. Sometimes they'd chat with us as agents to see what we'd put forward. So we'd pick out the horse that we think would suit a specific owner, possibly their budget, possibly where they can see the horse racing. And you know, we play our part in that perspective. You know, we work with the trainer to get the horse over, and then we work with the prospective buyers to suit the horse with their needs. So, and you know, it's all a process. And so they look at the horses, they view the horses. We've videos of all the races. We have all the race analysis on show. So, you know, when you get that far, you're probably 90% of the way. And the 10%, then the biggest 10% is up in the sales ring on the Thursday afternoon after racing. So
it's interesting you say that, because I think to an outsider, when we look at the prices from the store sales and the prices from the boutique National Hunt sales like Aintree, it looks like I think Colin Bow and the likes of Donica Doyle, they make it look far too easy. It looks like they just buy a store horse for 30 grand, win a point to point, and sell it for 200 grand. And but obviously it's you only see the success stories. Yeah,
but you know what, man, they do that. And there's no doubt they do it quite regularly. But we'll say Donica Doyle, for instance, last weekend he had in the region of 10 runners. 2 of them won on the Saturday. 2 very high profile horses, which I would class as maybe, you know, our top tier in the sale. But he also had 8 disappointments.
Yeah.
Do you know, and they cost money, and they have to be ridden out every day for the last 10 months, and there's a pile of work. The same work goes into the disappointing horse as the good horse, and they put down hard-earned cash to buy him originally. So I'd never begrudge anyone that's willing to spend their money in a public auction and take that risk. I think they're wonderful businessmen and great workers, because there is a lot of work, trust me. I know it myself because I do it myself, you know. There's a savage amount of work. Yeah. And when it works out on the Thursday afternoon and the hammer drops, and let it be 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, it's hard-earned money, and they do deserve it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Joey, can you give us just a quick overview of some of the potential star lots and the unique opportunity that this year's sale brings to actually have runners in the Grand National itself on Saturday?
Well, see, I suppose it's proof of all the horses, all the store horses that these guys preparing them do. They really do narrow it down to providing some very good horses. I know when the Aintree sale started, the amount of people that came down, it's a great facility. It's so close to the parade ring, it's so close to the weigh room that everybody comes down to see what horses are in the sale. But the first year they came down, they're going, well, we have to see this horse, Sam Crow, that everybody's talking about. I remember Black Ops being there because he was, you know, a fine big horse. Everybody was in love with Black Ops when they came down. It's amazing the work the guys preparing them do. They buy a lot of stores, but they do distill it down to what turns out to be very elite horses.
We certainly can't say anything negative about anything in the catalogue at this stage, because the whole reason they're in the catalogue is because they've had to prove themselves. But if I was putting you on the spot, then do you have any idea of who this year's Sam Crows or Black Ops might be?
Well, there's a lot of horses in the catalogue. Obviously a lot of them that have excelled on the track and excelled in the point-to-points. Black Hills of Dakota, he's obviously a Galileo horse who won his listed bumper. Looks a very promising horse. As you know, Super Sunday is another Galileo. There's tons of Galileos that have excelled over hurdles and national hunt. He'd be an obvious one for people. I suppose Derek would know a lot about the point-to-pointers.
It's a hell of a catalogue. They're the two national horses. Gets the ball rolling. Don Paulie and Outlander.
Yeah, that's 1 and 2.
Yeah, but they lead into, we have a total of, there's 5 track horses, ex-track horses with bumper form and that, and 23 point-to-pointers, 4 English point-to-pointers and 19 Irish point-to-pointers. There's 11 individual Irish winners, 8 of them 4-year-olds, which would be very popular. And, you know, as we were saying earlier about, you know, finding the value in the market, some great value in the placed horses. We've some very, very nice placed horses in the sale. So it's very easy to pick out the top lots. Do you know, anybody that looks at the catalogue can say, oh, he should make the top and he should be second and third. But it's finding the value. There's some great value in the catalogue. There's horses there around cracking races there to finish second in Irish point-to-points that you know that mightn't just be coming from them professional outlets, and just there could be a bit of improvement in it.
A bit back
That's where I always love shopping, and if I was recommending horses, that's where I'd always see value. You know, some of them nice placed horses, and it's a lovely market. That middle market is very safe. It's not a you're not pushing the boundaries out price wise, and you can always get a good horse in that market.
And so returning to these national horses, lots 1 and 2, they are Don Paulie and Outlander, who are sort of old warriors for Jigginstown House Stud, and they're now putting them on the market towards the end of their career. And that's garnered a few negative comments on social media, people saying, you know, it's a bit disloyal of Jigginstown to sort of move on these old horses. What's your view on that?
Firstly, I don't see them as being that old. I do think they have plenty of career left in them. You know, both of them have been running in graded chases this year. They've proven that they can jump around very competitively at grade 1 level all their lives. You know, fine, big, healthy horses. For a lot of people, it's a dream to have a runner at Royal Ascot. It's why people, I suppose, come to our London sale. It's a dream to have a runner in the Grand National, and this is an opportunity to do it with very sound horses. So, please God, they'll give new owners a great spin around and have a career ahead of them. I see Road to Respect, I suppose, an example, a recent example, that left Gigginstown. He won his Hunter Chase recently, and, you know, he's one of the leading fancies for the Fox Hunters on Friday. So, you know, he's an example of what you can do. I don't doubt that these horses, gosh, they make great Hunter Chases next year for people.
Yeah, and we were talking about Folsom Blue as well. He's another example of a horse that Jigginstown moved on, and the new owners have had a real tune out of him. So
yeah, he won the 100 grand race at Punchestown afterwards, at the festival. So he's given, you know, the new owners, I think he cost 20 or 21 grand, something like that. He gave the new owners a great day out in Punchestown and won a lot of money.
So the message is there's plenty of good tune playing on an old fiddle.
Ballinasloe, the horse that won the Fox Hunters for me last year. He was a €9,000 purchase out of a September sale off Gigginstown.
Yeah.
And the owners, we've had so much fun with that horse. It's unbelievable. He's brought us to all the festivals. He's brought us to Cheltenham, Aintree on 2 occasions, Punchestown. He's ran around Stratford on 2 occasions. He's brought us to every pint of wine track in Ireland for €9,000. That was some value. And for what he's given his owners, lovely people from Northern Ireland. There's great value there. And do you know what? Whoever will buy either of these horses, Don Poli or Outlander, let it be jockey, possibly that wants to ride in the race, an owner that wants to have a runner in the race. There's nothing negative about it. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful to have these horses there for sale and give people a chance to have a runner in the National.
Great opportunity to have your silks carried in the Grand National.
You
can, you know, as long as you're a BHA registered owner, you can, you know, purchase at sale and change them into your colours to run on the day.
Yeah.
Must be an amazing experience to come to the National with a runner.
Yeah. And can you think of any jockeys who are looking for a ride in the National at this late hour who would be willing to offer their services to either horse?
Yeah, me. Me. I put my hand up. I'd love to. Oh God, Don Poli would be some rider on there. He's some jumper.
Yeah.
And you never know, because there's a pile of ability there in both horses. And you know, you come to Aintree, the fences, the atmosphere, the whole occasion. You never know what a horse can do on a big day, and they have the ability.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course there is a lottery element to the National, so it's always worth having a horse in there, because you know you could be the next Foynaven, couldn't you? Good, but you don't have a ride in the National yet, but you do have a ride in the Fox Hunters, which you won last year of Ballinasloe, as you said, and this year you are on Burning Ambition.
Yeah, it was a terrible decision I had to make, to be honest. I spoke about Ballinasloe, wicked fond of that horse, and the owners are the soundest people. Mrs. Hagan, that owned it, Ballinasloe originally, passed away, but the horse has been left to her daughter and her family, and they're the loveliest people. But I suppose as a jockey, it's a decision you have to make. If I wasn't doing my job properly, I should probably not be riding. You know, I have to ride the best horse that I see fit in every race. And I suppose Ballinasloe hasn't sparked this year. So I was offered to ride on Burning Ambition. It was just by chance, really, because Rob James picked up, his regular jockey picked up a suspension in Cheltenham. So it was a spare ride, and they gave me the call, and you know, I had to jump for it. He's a favourite, or a reasonably good chance. He might be second favourite now to Road to Rome, but he's in good form. They're sending him over, you know, very happy with his preparation. He's on the back of a win in Down Royal, so he'll be a good ride. Yeah, he'll be a good ride, and we're looking forward to him.
And how would you feel if Ballinasloe goes?
Do you know,
emotions, I'd imagine.
I'd be very happy for them, but you know, he'd be definitely very sick afterwards. But I should come here. It's horse racing. We're used to being the ups and downs of horse racing. Yeah.
One horse is to beat you.
I'd love it to be him. I would love it to be him. Yeah.
Do you have any other rides lined up for Aintree at the moment? Or?
No, there's only one amateur race in Aintree, and that's the Fox Hunters. And do you know what? It's very difficult for an amateur to pick up rides in any other in the professional races. Now, Jamie Codd and Patrick Mullins are declared on horses in the National, or you know, intended mounts in the National, and maybe Sam Wiley, Cohn, but they're because of connections with individual horses. But for an amateur, it's very difficult to get rides in Aintree.
But you've obviously ridden Grade 1 winners, or a Grade 1 winner in Edwolf against professional jockeys. So it can be done. How did that come about then?
That came about, I suppose I had a good association with the horse. Good to a point. I'd ridden him, and we were going to run a big race in the 4 mile in Cheltenham. And we came to grief, and Mr. McManus decided that to leave me on him, which I was very grateful for. And you know, it was just one of them fairy tale stories that I seemed to click with the horse, and he seemed to run very well for me. And to win the Irish Gold Cup that Sunday in February was very special. You know, I suppose in my career I've been very lucky. You know, I've had a lot of good associations with good horses, but I think that's the best day.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just talking generally about your status as an amateur rider. Obviously, it's amateur in inverted commas because you're acknowledged as being as good or better than many professional jockeys.
Yeah.
Why do you retain your amateur status, and why did you never go professional?
Oh, I don't know about the compliments, Martin. I don't take them great now. I suppose I have a wonderful job in preparing and working with young horses, and I really enjoy that, and I always have done. And my association with Goffs now is adding to that again. To work as an agent for Goffs. So for me to work with a trainer or an owner and bring the young horse through and win your point and then bring him onto the sales, there's huge job satisfaction in all of that. Yeah. Huge job satisfaction. That you can see value in a horse and you recommend him because you know his upbringing. Yeah. And then you see that horse going on being competitive and winning on the track. It's hard to even quantify the pleasure I get out of it. It's just been a part of that whole system, being the first man to school him, continuing on, working him, ride him in a race, bring him over here to the sales, recommend him there to Colin Tizard, Paul Nichols, Tom Malone, whoever it may be, going on watching that horse in Cheltenham or Aintree. That is the full package. And as a professional, you don't get that. And there is the other problem, there's a little bit too big as well. Yeah.
And pointing is in the blood for you, isn't it? Your mother rode in points, is that right?
Yeah, my mother, Jean Moore, she was in the 60s, the late 60s. She was one of the ladies that canvassed for lady riders to be recognised on the track. There was Helen Bryce Smith and Rosemary Rooney and my mother were three ladies that were the first campaigners for lady riders to be recognised and riding the track against professionals. So she rode something like 30 point winners, which would have been a good number of point winners in the 60s. Yeah. I think she was champion lady rider on a couple of occasions and second in the overall to, I think it was Connie Vaughan. Right. They're famous names, Connie Vaughan, Bill McLernan, they're famous names in the Irish point world, and that's the bloodlines, I suppose. Yeah.
And so I guess obviously the Irish point sphere is just very close to your heart.
Very much so, yeah, very much so.
So on the, just remaining on points for a bit, Joe, do you get to points much, or?
Yeah, get to go as much as I can. Obviously, this time of the year there's a lot of racing on as well, so it's trying to juggle and going racing on Saturdays and Sundays and trying to squeeze in the points when you can. Yeah. I went point a lot when I was younger, but I tend to go racing now. In Ireland, Sunday is the big day's racing as well.
Yeah, of course.
So, the team is always divided on Monday morning. You're telling them what you thought of the horses that won the bumper, and they're telling you about the horses that won the points at the weekend. Yeah.
So for an outsider, Derek, which are the best courses to ride? And also, when we see all that point form in the catalogue, are there certain courses which have more prestige and better horses tend to come out of?
Yeah, once upon a time, I'd have said definitely. There was a great Cork and Waterford. Southern region was very, very competitive. But because there's a new generation and a lot of people use the points as a business outlet now, and there's a lot of people investing a lot of money. There's no specific courses. You could get good horses out of any point track at the present. Yeah. And there's so many horses in Ireland. There's so many new modern point trainers with new best of facilities that they can't just target the good tracks because they have so many horses. They have to keep them well spread out. Yeah. So you could actually bump into a good horse in any point track at this present time.
And linking those 2 points then, saying how obviously the Irish point sphere is very close to your heart, but also how so many young people have come in and it's become slightly commercialised because of the pots on offer at the boutique National Hunt sales. Is there any cause for regret there that sort of the old Irish point-to-point world, the romantic world of sort of the Corinthian spirit and amateurs, is there any sort of regret that that's passed slightly, or? Yeah,
no, it's a very good point. It's a topic of discussion quite regularly that that atmosphere, that nice, friendly, local, traditional day out is being lost, and it is. There's no doubt. It's a big business now, and that good local atmosphere where you'd go racing for the day with your family to watch the local horses running, and that is fairly gone, but the hunt committees in Ireland are actually doing a great job recently there now to give extra activities, you know, so there's great activities for kids, and they put on food halls and dog shows and different activities. It's more like a country day out. There's some committees in Ireland that are brilliant for it, and there's some that are quite lazy, you know, that stay with the traditional just racing and have the chip van in the corner of the field. That's kind of the lazy attitude. But there is committees. Liscarroll last weekend had nationwide on show, and they did bouncy castles and face painting and dog shows and pony rides and everything on offer. And I'd say there was 5,000 people at the Point.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, and the year previous they had President Michael D. Higgins at the Point.
Okay, yeah.
So there is committees that are making a wonderful effort, and then, you know, there's the traditional committees that just kind of go and have the days racing, and I suppose they lose out because they don't get the crowds.
Yeah. So I suppose the important thing is sports thriving.
Yeah.
So we've been around the point-to-point field in Ireland, going back to Aintree then this week. Joey, you're a Shrewdy. What will you be backing in the National on Saturday? Obviously, you think lots 1 and 2 in the sale have very good chances. Other than those,
to tell you the truth, I think it might be an interesting one. I'd love to see Maldini run well in the National. He may well still be a novice over fences, as Derek says. He's got a lot of experience though. He ran very well the last day, so he did over 2 miles, getting his preparation. He's been placed twice, I think, in the Kimmuir. I think he didn't make the handicap in the Kimmuir this year. He was too high. Yeah. I think he's about 148 now. But he slots in perfect for the National. He'll get a nice quiet ride. He seems to stay forever in the Kimmuir every year. You know, he's running the Thyestes, which is often, you know, a good indicator for the National. Maldini, he's a big price, and, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see it come west of the Shannon. It'd be great to see it come back to Ireland.
And Derek, you're...
Do you know, Annabelle Fly, he had a great run in the Gold Cup. He wasn't stopping, like he galloped all the way to the line. The only fear that I have, it's a little bit soon. The window is shorter than last year's window, and he disappointed a little bit in the Grand National last year, but he put in a great round of jumping. And I suppose his preparation this year, he's had less runs. So maybe the Gold Cup run mightn't just be after taking the same sting as it did last year. So I think Annabelle Fly, carrying a lot of weight, but do you know what, the softer ground, he'll jump around. I bet you he won't be too far away when you turn in after the Melling Road, and wherever he finishes, I don't know. Yeah.
And what are your thoughts? You haven't put up Tiger Roll, probably because he's so short a price, but I assume you're both big admirers of the horse, who we should say his connection to Goffs comes from him being sold at Doncaster out of Godolphin to Nigel Hawke, who then trained him to win at Market Raisin, and Nigel Hawke then sold him to the Jigginstown House Stud. So how would you sum up Tiger Roll and his achievements?
I would love to see him winning it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible. He's about a hand higher than the table. You know, he's a small little hardy horse and full of heart. He does know when he's beaten. It'll be a fairy tale. It'll be a fairy tale for Gigginstown. Yeah. Because they're unbelievable owners, and the amount of money they put into racing, they deserve the big days. An incredible horse, and for Gordon to do it. Now he's thrown a fair lot of darts at it. I think it's 13 horses intended running. So, you know, it's a fair possibility Gordon will pick up a lot of the prize money. It'll be lovely to see Tiger Roll, and especially for Goffs as well, wouldn't it? It'd
be great to see Tiger Roll. He's you know, these fairy tale stories, they tend to hang around the National, and he's that kind of horse. Everybody knows Tiger Roll. He's been around for so long, and amazingly, when he ran first time this year over hurdles again, we went, God, is he even better this year? Yeah. You know, it's amazing training to get him to.
Very good in Navan now, wasn't he? In the Grade 2 hurl, like that was unbelievable.
You don't see Grand Nationals come back and do that these days.
No, and he in Cheltenham he looked, you know, the peak of his powers. It'd be great to see him. He got tired near the end last year, but the joy on Davy Russell's face when they called out the photo finish, the joy for everyone around. He's a horse I imagine that you know, the general public, they'll all latch onto him. I love it, and I think he can, you know, deliver for everyone. I presume every housewife in Britain and Ireland will have will support him. It'd be great to see him win for them.
But not a big enough price to carry your money though.
Yeah, but he'd be the one I'd be cheering home.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him win. Those kind of horses, those Paisley Parks that have the great stories behind them, those Tiger Rolls that are such firm favourites with everybody. Got to be great to see him win.
Absolutely. So we'll wish Derek all the best luck in the Fox Hunters.
Thank you very much.
Both of you all the best luck at the sales. Joey, just give us a rundown of what's coming up after Aintree for Goffs?
Well, obviously we've got the Punchestown sale comes up pretty quickly. It's that time of the year. It's my favourite time of the year. Everybody's having new foals, new prospects. The Punchestown sale is coming up. People are hopefully, getting horses sold well at the sales, getting sold well at Aintree, and obviously then all those 2-year-olds are appearing out. It's great to see all the flat coming back. It won't be long before I'm sure we're at the London sale. It's a busy time of year, but it's a great time of year. A lot of hope at this time of the year and a lot of positivity. So I love this time of year.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for both coming in, and good luck at Aintree.
Pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for watching this Racing Post Bloodstock Postcast. You don't forget you can read Derek O'Connor's column in the Irish Point to Point supplement every Wednesday in the Irish Racing Post.